100 people resiliency plan, they're gonna have to get adopted into the county.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy June 1st. Kind of feels like summer's here. Okay, Deborah, kick us off with financial reports. Does everybody have the handout?
Okay. So this is for the general fund financial report of July 1, 2025 through May 31st, 26. This is preliminary since May just ended yesterday. We're still working on the GL. There may be some changes. But overall, general fund remains on track with two major revenue streams outperforming the budget. Fourth quarter timber was came in 1.5 million for a total of 5.4 million for the year. It's 1.5 million above budgeted. Interest is currently at 549,000 above budget. And revenue stabilization transfers to the general fund have been reversed largely given the performance of revenue. Total year to date revenue collected is $23,600,840. That's 98% of our budgeted amount. Expenditures are at $22,569,388, which is 78% of our budgeted amount. Compared to last year, total revenues are up 1.3 million. That's largely due to timber. Total expenditures are up 1.1 million. That's 13% increase over last year on materials and services alone. Personnel are 523,000 above last year, and capital outlay is 27,000 above last year. Year-to-date operating surplus, so an operating surplus is not including transfers in or transfers out, is 1 million surplus so far this year. Projected ending is 327,000. And that includes the reversal of the transfers in of the revenue stabilization. So that's holding your reserve strong, still ending with a surplus. And that's as planned with the budget committee decisions and current performance. So the general fund is performing well through 11 months of 25-26. Again, total revenues at 23 million, on pace against 24 million original budget. Expenditures of 22.5 million remain well under the 28.7 revised budget, and ending fund balance stands at 12.5 million. That's up from 11.5 million at the beginning of this fiscal year. So again, revenue stabilization transfers have been stopped for the year and 750,000 held back in the revenue stabilization fund. This is shown in the updated current actual and projected revenues and ending cash balances. So far this year, revenues are ahead of the prior year, 1.3 million. Property taxes are at 99% collected, so we're within 1% of collecting all budgeted property taxes. Timber at 5.5 million above budget. Personnel 3.8 million under budget currently. I think we're going to end at about 2.4 million under budget in personnel. And fund balance of 12.5 million, are up 1 million from the beginning of the fiscal year. Again, the things to watch are mainly our materials and services up 13%, and I think that's largely due to the broader economic. Our fuel and lubricants GL code is up 150% of where it was at the beginning of the year. For leadership, no immediate action required. Continue 26-27 budget preparation with focus on recurring versus one-time spending and long-range structural gap mitigation. I think we went over the major differences in revenue, so I'll skip over that portion. Down into the expenditure line items. So we see personnel services budgeted at 19.4 million. Year-to-date actual is 15.6. With a variance of 3.8 currently, projected to end at 2.4 million under budget for personnel. Materials and services 6.4 million budgeted, 5.7 million spent. Below budget 664,000, but 10% or 13%. Sorry, that should say 13% on the variance over this point last year's spending. Capital outlay, 191,930 so far this year. That's 43.4% below budgeted, probably due to timing on the expenditures. Contingency is fully intact still, but as I work through the supplemental budget for the final fiscal year end, I think we will have a little bit of movement with some line items. But really not much. Personnel are at budgeted 135.4 FTE, actual right now 120.7. That's down 1 from last month with 15 vacancies and a 10.9% vacancy rate. Current year end projections are revenues at 24.5 million, projected expenditures at 24.2 million, and projected surplus deficit at surplus of 327,000, landing us above the 11.75 million we are budgeted for beginning 26-27. That is what I have. Any questions?
Thank you, Deborah. Hey, Mackenzie. It's all going up there?
Okay. HR updates. Our audit is well underway. We should have our final report by the first week of July. So that's exciting. The benefit fair, I think I gave a heads up a while ago, but it's been a while. That's a reminder that is July 9th from 11 to 2 at the library. And I will be sending communications to all staff next week. We'll give them about a month's notice and then send out reminders. So a lot of the carriers will be here from CIS. And we've also confirmed this year that both Nationwide and Voya, the 457Bs, will have reps here at the benefit fair as well. So that's exciting. Policy and procedure manual trainings, that's still an outstanding item, and I should have the dates and times communicated for those sometime this week. ADP document acknowledgement, I sent an email on Friday about those document acknowledgements in ADP. So super easy to route through. It's just going to show up in your to-do bar of ADP Workforce Now. There's 2 for you to acknowledge. They will be saved in the employee documents tab, so employees can look at them for future reference. That's where those are. If you have questions or you have any issues accessing those, please let us know. We have paper as a backup, but it'd be nice just to do it in ADP. And then performance evaluations. So we've been using ADP for a year and a half now, and it's been going well. It certainly helps us keep track, which is super nice. So we recently ran a report, and we currently have 34 outstanding reviews with an average overdue date of 65 days. So this is kind of a reminder that eval should be completed no later than 30 days for the employee anniversary date. And that there are some specific provisions in the CBA for representative employees. So there's a couple different articles in there to reference. So Article 6.2, annual evaluations and pay increases. If we fail to provide annual evaluations within 60 days, from the employee's anniversary date, the employee's performance will be considered satisfactory and documented as such. So it's just a reminder. One reminder to do them timely, and then Article 16.1 under reclassification reviews. Department directors may initiate informal reclassification reviews at annual performance evaluation periods. And if it's not initiated by the department director, employees can also request reclassification at that time, but they have 30 days. So again, another important date reminder to do those. Any eval questions or issues, reach out to Kelly. She's now managing that process. That's all I had. Questions?
Okay, Matt.
Okay. I don't really have a whole bunch. We're coming into summer. Summer historically has been slow. This last couple of weeks, the 3 rules we've been getting in. Summer is not going to start off slow, but it might level off as we get further into summer. So we've had quite an atypical uptick in activity. Weather's nicer, days are longer. School year is coming to an end. That's all I got.
So can you say a little bit more about that? It just piques my curiosity. Is it like drug activity or?
Mainly it's just behavior, not not so much substance that we're seeing now. We do see that as just a lot of parent versus kid type stuff that's rising to the level of law enforcement response and reports coming into the office. So, but that's a good question. Just I thought we'd see more substance referrals with kind of the rollback of content.
Mhm.
It's not quite what I expected, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, exciting news on the 13th and 14th, which is a Saturday and a Sunday. We're going to be participating in the current 2026 well run. And I don't know how many of you know what a well run is, but what it is, there's a private group out there called ODAR. Don't know what it stands for, but it's a group of pilots throughout the state that donate their time, their aircraft, their fuel to help with supplies during the disaster. And so to exercise this once a year, they get together and we, different counties participate, some don't. Some airports participate, some don't, but we participate. We did last year or this year. And what will happen is that on the Sunday, the pilots will be flying in supplies, the actual supplies, as a exercise to see how well it goes with both communication and distribution. And what they do is they bring in supplies and they usually distribute them out to the different food bank locations. That's prearranged through DHS, Department of Human Services, and their people, and with the food bank. And so we actually get the supplies in, go through them, repackage them, and then take them out. So it's kind of a fun little exercise to see what would happen in real life. This year, they're also going to see if they can take people back as an evacuation issue. So I think there'll be some volunteers that will get on a plane, fly back to Redmond. I don't know how they'll get back here, but that'll be fun to see what happens. And they had planned it, but then some lawyer said, what about liability and all this other stuff? So I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But usually what we do is we just pretend like we're sending people back. We triage them and see who should be going, who shouldn't be, who can wait. So that's kind of a fun little exercise. And the difference this year is they're actually going to bring in a DC-3. So hopefully the airport will handle a DC-3. And I don't know if they're going to be bringing in supplies or not, but they're going to be taking our evacuation assembly point tents back over to Albany because they've got a big thing going on there and they don't have these types of tents. And so they're going to be loading up 13 of those into the DC-3, or we'll be whoever shows up, and they'll be flying back out. So it's been kind of fun to see. And that's another thing. And the DC-3 is privately owned, again, by a pilot within this ODAR. So he's donating his plane and fuel. And right now that's a big deal with donating fuel. They weren't sure if they're going to pull it off. And these people said, we don't care how much it is, we do it. And the thing is, on the Saturday is going to be kind of the work party. We're hoping that a lot of people can show up on that because that's when we're going to set up all the little tents, and there's kind of the village. It's like what we did when we had the county commissioners present out of one of the tents. And so it's going to be the complete setup there. And that's, again, a way that we can train on how to put it up and see how everything goes. We usually have, we're going to have the Civil Air Patrol cadets there to help. We're going to have some fire department people there, hopefully some people from the health department to see, so they are become aware of it. And I'll be sending out some more invitations to whoever I can think of to come down. And if not, just come and watch it. We also test communications through the ham radio system. So that is our backup on that. So it's kind of fun. Those who help set up on Saturday and want to, they can stay overnight in the tent on a cot. And there will be dinner and a movie, they said. So I don't know what the dinner is. It could be MREs or it could be catered. I'm not sure, but they're not going to tell us until it happens. And it's in conjunction with the Office of Resilience and Emergency Management are good friends and buddies that take care of us out here. So that's exciting news. The unexciting news is that the Oregon Department of Emergency Management has decided they're going to come up with a brand new wonderful program online for us to manage our federal grants that are administered by OEM. And so because of that, everything's there. Usually we would do it all in paper, we'd send it in and everything was cool. But now we have to go online, put in all the information, do it right, figure the right thing. It took me only about 10 times as long to get it entered in as it did before. But then also the request for a refund is also online. So we had to get Deborah to be able to sign into the system. It also is covering our disaster fund. So Chris has to learn how to get into the system. And then we're going to have the port being able to get into the system. And also Manzanita to see anybody that's going to have FEMA reimbursement. And so they say it's a great, wonderful thing, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's a learning curve. And so that's what we're doing right now, is kind of learning how to do that and enter it in. I have just a few grants. It mainly affects me. I don't think it's going to affect anybody else with federal grants unless they're administered by OEM. That's my understanding. So lucky them. So anyway, we'll see how well it works and see if we can get reimbursed within a year instead of waiting more than a year to get money back from them. So hopefully it'll work out good. And then we'll end on a good note, is that we'll be presenting our energy resiliency plan to the county commission board briefing this month. And the plan's been completed, but we wanted to present it in a briefing to the commissioners so they can look at it, ask any questions. The people who wrote it will be here to answer questions on it. And then after that, we'll go ahead and I will present it to the county commission for adoption. No signatures required. We just need to adopt it in. I don't know, right policy. We'll work out how that is going to work on how we're going to adopt it in, but it'll become part of our emergency operating plan as a supplemental plan. So that'll be fun on that one.
Randy, is there a deadline to get that adopted?
No. It's we got it presented because there was a grant from the Department of Energy to do it. And there's the only deadline is that we had to get the plan into them by June 1st. And that has happened to them. They just wanted to see a plan to see that we actually spent the money correctly and did just have fun with it. So
some of the June briefings are filling up, so I just want to make sure we got a little bit of time to get that on the calendar.
Yeah, I've been working with Debbie to try to make sure we get that in there, because they've got a 30-minute presentation, and it's going to be great. The plan is superb. It's just really going to be fun for us to have one. Plus, we are probably one of the only counties that have one. And so we're kind of, again, the poster child for energy resiliency planning. And the company that did it they've got the gold star from the state. They are getting nothing but praise for the plan that they wrote. So that's kind of nice that we're going to get something good there. Then the other good note is that I picked up a booth at the fair for emergency preparedness. And so last year we had a couple of state agencies there. We had our death investigator actually came, and she was there, and we had a bunch of our volunteer groups there. And so because there was so much interest last year, I got a double booth or two booths. And so I'll be working with people that want to come and partake of the fair. And you can't just come and do it during the day, so you can go to all the fun things at night. We need people there at night too. So Randy doesn't have to stay there till 10 o'clock every night. So, but it's kind of a fun thing to do. And it was really, really exciting to have all the different groups that came in, because everybody took, 3 or 4 hours, and it was a wide variety of people that we had presented in there. So that's good news too. So a lot of good news and only one bad thing. So
Thanks for sandwiching the bad in.
yeah, I'm trying to hide that with that. And luckily, our finance department is so cool and, the things that they.
Cool, yeah, cool, yeah.
I'm sucking up here. But, that's one thing that happens is that I ask them for a lot of weird stuff and they just get it done with a smile. And even though we have to redo the same thing over again to make sure that it's in the right format, it's been really interesting. We're finally going to be maybe reimbursed for expenditures that we made last September. Our last $7,000, finally. I was asking them, why does a canceled check not qualify for proof of purchase? And I never really got a right answer with that, but we just keep saying them canceled checks, and then it's like, well, So anyway, hopefully this new system will be different and it will all work out good. But anyway, and this was all done, a lot of this was done during the budget period, the series here that I was asking and begging and pleading because we had deadlines to get it in. It was right in the middle of our budget process and it still came through.
Right.
And so give Marcia a big hand too and make sure that she gets a little something special in her Christmas stocking.
Absolutely.
So anyway,
Anything else, Randy?
that's it.
All right, thank
Too
you.
much.
County Council.
Good morning, everyone. As Matt had indicated, right, with school being out, we're going to have more young drivers out and about. We're already seeing the influx of visitors. So whether you're on duty or off, it's just a reminder to have that, it's an exercise in patience.
And I don't know.
Especially if you have a new permit driver.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So, so it's just, again, whether you're on duty or off, just, it's just the influx of people, that it's gonna be in the county. And so just to be mindful, defensive driving, right? And just allocating more time because it's that, again, that time of year and just being good representatives of the county while we're out and about. And right to keep our liability risk low. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Better.
Okay.
It's so bad when I'm driving. Okay, anyway, we are almost getting wrapping up on the election, so we have until the 15th of June to get that done, but hoping maybe by the end of next week we can be finished if we have everything we need in. So we have about 136 ballots left to count, but that's people that either didn't sign their ballot or we challenged their signature, so we still have those coming. And they have till next Tuesday to do that. And that's it. And then I guess our big project this summer is we're starting to go out for quotes on getting the remainder of our imaged and indexed and in digital format. So that's going to be our big project this summer. So our microfilm will be unavailable for a time, but that's to come later in the summer, first part of fall. So I'll keep everybody posted.
Was the election less chaotic? It just seems smooth and calm down there. I didn't know if it was because of the new machine or you guys just handled it really well.
We're just good. No,
Yeah.
it's chill. Like it's
Yeah.
just, we have our job to do. We just do it and everyone just kind of flows and our new equipment helped so much. Like that was really slick. But no, we had a lot of angry voters this year, this cycle, it seems like. So we get abused quite a bit, more than people probably would think that we do. So
Was there
it's just hard.
a theme on why they were angry or just a lot of different?
Many different topics. I think it's every election, but the topics change. So we've had a lot of people upset about like coming executive orders and people upset about us challenging their signature and that they were gonna sue us for defamation of character for that if we didn't accept their signature. And so, and it really, it's nothing nefarious. I think people just get, stuck on something and you sometimes can't talk people. So we had a lot of kind of angry people. They don't like the whole turn envelope.
That you've had for.
It's ever, yeah. The habit, it just shifted down and for whatever reason, they're printed on the flat And so they put the drill holes in. Well, our envelope went from being a straight back to a slight curve, so it impacted the hole, so they shifted it down. But for some reason, they had a 1/2 inch hole and a 3/8 inch hole, so it's two different sizes. The vendor has no idea how it happened, and so we will get that fixed on our next round, but I'm not gonna flush, $10,000 of envelopes for that. We just can't do that, so,
People were mad about their end.
and the fact that you could see that it said REP or DEM in it, it's like nobody. Not being disrespectful, but I don't care. I mean, we just don't care what your party is, and no one's looking at the envelope going, oh gosh, we're just focused on the work, and so that's our big thing, is trying to, we have a big push, which I need to forward that to you, but, that's kind of one of the big things this time. And we've got rid of secrecy envelopes, it's been years now, so we have the secrecy function printed on the inside of the envelope now, so we got rid of the sleeve, and so people were really upset about that. But there was creative folding this time. They would took like envelopes and sheets of like out of magazines and folded their own little secrecy envelopes and made them. So that's pretty cool. There was like a whole grouping. I don't know if it was family time. Everyone sat down and made their own secrecy.
That's on
No,
their site.
yeah, they did that. It was great. So origami, but yeah, no, but it was, all in all, it's all good. So
Many people come to view, you guys are counting.
we only allow one per party, one person per party. So, and they usually have, the boards only work 3 days this election. So, which is down by,
People show up to observe.
yep. They're there usually from the time we start, which is about 9 until 4. And then they were there 7:30 in the morning on election day until 10:30 maybe, some night. And then we had people last Wednesday. Yeah.
Stay all day.
All day. All day.
All day.
All day.
Anything else, please?
Nope, that's okay.
Randy?
All right, well, I don't have a whole lot. I'm trying to get some time with Civic Plus, to look at their accessibility tools, and I want to invite people, webmasters, and any interested parties to look at these. These are additional tools for accessibility. Our WCAG deadline, which is like Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, that our deadline got pushed out another year, so we have some extra time to look at these tools. And I just wanted to let you guys know we're still looking at all of those things, and I think they might have some really interesting things we can take a look at. They're additional. I don't know exactly how much they are right now, but gauge the interest in using these tools and if they would work. So keep a lookout for.
Speak a little more to these requirements are coming from.
Yeah.
Legislation or.
Yeah, this is a federal requirement. Since we have less than, I can't think of the number, less than we get another year. Additional, some people are having to do this next year. Some counties are having to do this next year because they have more county. But we get until 2028, April 28th, 2028. And basically the idea here is that we need to ensure that anyone can access our content. Right? And that we offer tools that let them read it with screen readers or other accessibility tools. And this is a constant effort. So while we have that time to get ourselves compliant with those rules, we're gonna have to do this forever. And we should, because we want people to be able to come get these resources. So that's where that's coming from, is to make it that people can actually come to your website, get the information they need, and get it in a way that is accessible for them. And it's just really honest, good efforts from us to make sure that that is available. If you guys have any questions about that, please feel free, you can reach out to me whenever.
A few updates and reminders as we head into week and towards fiscal year end. We are working on the EVAP 365. News, we'll have a status review meeting on this Wednesday. Thank you to Brandy and her team for coming up with them. We're moving. We have a meeting. We'll see the
Give them a
status.
prod or we're gonna look at
No.
this. Yeah, good.
Check runs, our final check run is this Wednesday. A huge thank you to Karen Cronoff, who has been helping us with AP entry for the last 5 months. We appreciate the support. After that, the next check run won't be until July 1, the first of the new fiscal year. So please keep turning in vouchers between now and then to have them ready on July 1. Credit card vouchers are also due Wednesday this week. Reports and transaction lists are available online. If you need help with your access or finding the reports, reach out to our department. Journal entry requests due Wednesday this week. I appreciate any extra set of eyes on the GL. It's a lot of data to sit through, and if I've missed something, let me know. Payroll time cards are due by the end of the week, and budget, we have the final supplemental budget in the works for either June 17th or 4th, so I will be running through every GL line to make sure that we are below budget or at budget for line items. And I may be reaching out with questions as I walk through those. The 26-27 budget adoption is set for June 17th. Thank you all for your help in that process. And if there's anything that anybody has any questions on or needs help with, reach out to the department.
I am gonna be sending out 2 memos today or tomorrow on 2 different topics. The first being regarding the administration annex, occupation of the Beyond building. So DLR will be here on June 15th at 1:30 to have a targeted work session with leaders and the board of commissioners to walk through space assessment, and the memo will include directions on how to participate if you have feedback and just a general overview of the process. So be watching for that memo. The second memo is regarding the courthouse access changes. I think I mentioned this at the last leadership team, but I'm going to be sending out a memo that describes types of visitors to the courthouse and the access afforded to those visitors and employees based on their needs and courthouse security. So courthouse access is currently all over the place and it's antiquated. There's lots of old permissions. And so part of this has also been a great cleanup exercise working with IT and HR. Thanks for your support there. And we've been working through the courthouse security committee. So in short, and the memo goes into more detail about this, there's a law enforcement group, which will basically have access to all interior and exterior doors, and that includes Sheriff's Office and City of Tillamook Police. Then we have a group of county and state courthouse employees, so everyone who has an office in the courthouse, as well as if you are a county elected official or department director outside the courthouse, you're also in this group. And this group will be allowed access to all exterior doors and doors to the mailroom. And there's no restriction on time. So basically, if you're a director offsite, you can come and go as you please, and we're not concerned about security with you. And you don't have to go through the front door security. Always would need your badge. The next group, and this is where some of the changes really come into play, is non-courthouse county employees. So if you're a library assistant at the library, you would be in this category. You would need to go through the front entrance of the courthouse during business hours and present your badge. So you don't get access to any exterior doors. You need to come through the front door, show your badge, but you don't have to go through the screening. And then the next group is mailroom personnel. So currently there's mailroom cards for people who, for departments that are offsite, and those are passed around. And that is not ideal from a security standpoint because we don't know who's coming and going, and they come in cycles. So the change there will be individuals who are assigned, and I've received this information from those departments, to come to the courthouse and retrieve mail. They would have, they would still need to go through the front door, present their badge, but then they get to bypass screening, and then they would have card access to the mail. So any questions on that? I know it's a lot, might be a little confusing. We spent a lot of time thinking about these different groups because it's like, who needs what when? And so there's likely going to have to be some shifts if this, you know, we run into some hiccups here, but we think this is a good start and it was a great opportunity to do some cleanup. So that memo is forthcoming and the changes will take effect on June 16th. So we have some grace period here for people talk to their managers. In addition to the memo that we go to all county employees, I'm sending an email to all of the mailroom personnel, which are specific employees that will now have access to the mailroom and our department directors. And I received the names from the department directors. So it's just tying up that loose end and everybody's clear on who has access to what. Okay. Questions on that? Central Services Review. I think most of you have met with Mike Gleason. Thanks for the time on that. Reviewing the new Central Services structure and the Chief Administrative Officer position was just a really important step in this new structure. So thank you for all your time and meeting with him. There's a couple of interviews outstanding this week, and he's already started drafting a report, and then he's going to start going through the questions. So if he submitted survey questions on top of your interview, he's seconding that next. So I would expect a final report from him in middle of June or so. Update on the courthouse roof. We had a lot of great interest, and then we received no bids. So we are going out to bid again this week, and bids will be due at the end of June. The scope of the project, in short, is a new roof system along with a whole ceiling system of the parapet, which is where a lot of the water is coming in horizontally. And the engineer for the project thinks that maybe those two combined inhibited some of the bidding because you do have two different types of work, although the roofing contractor could be the prime contractor. And the roof work obviously has to be done in the summer, but the parapet work can happen in the winter and in inclement weather. So for those reasons, and trying to encourage more bids and a successful bid, we're going to separate those scopes. So what we're going back out to bid for this week is just for the roof. Get that done, try to get it done before the fall and winter season hits, and then we'll proceed with bidding. So fingers crossed that we get a bid for the roof. And then lastly, we finally have a draft of the compensation policy. And what is included in this is this pay calculator that's been so mysterious, kind of like the indirect cost allocation, that some of you have already ran into if you had any new hires, is all explained in there, as well as, you know, what are we doing with hiring bonuses, relocation expenses, all of these pay practices that have been in HR for quite some time and have been applied inconsistently across employee groups. All that is getting tightened up. And so I have a draft. It's been reviewed by HR and it is now going through the additional review process. And you'll see it after it gets in more of a final form. We'll be talking about it in a board briefing. So that is exciting. And then the next policy we'll be working on in HR is the recruitment process. So that process is more formal. Questions? Hey. Online, Christine, anything from the DA's office?
Good morning. No updates for the DA's office.
Thank you. Dan, Parks?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody. Not really a lot to report today, but I can say that we had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We were full, but at the same time, it was It was very uneventful, which is exactly the way we want it. I can say that based on, we believe our staff is more than ready this year. In our preseason orientation, we covered a lot of ground. And I also like to give a lot of credit to Sheriff Deputy Bill Weber. He came on board the 11th of the month, was here over the weekend, and we believe his presence is the key to keep a lot of the unwanted activity at a minimum. So we thank the Sheriff Department for that. But otherwise, we're just cruising along and working on a number of projects. Thank you.
You, Don?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Just have a couple of updates for the library. We had the One Book, One Coast event yesterday at Tillamook Coliseum Theater. It was the culmination of the One Book, One Coast. Very successful. The books that we had out were out pretty much the whole time and talked to many readers. Over the course of the 2 months of the program, we had about 25 people at the event yesterday, and then we had a number of events before that with good attendance. So it was great to see that. And I got good response from the folks that came to the event there. So in the past, they've done this sort of every 2 years, but I'll be curious to see kind of what the planning process looks like moving forward. This was a very Los Angeles Public Library heavy organized event because it stemmed out of their program. But now that there are many libraries involved throughout the West Coast, I would imagine that planning will expand in its scope as to who's involved in it. So more to come on that, but very exciting to have that event here and to connect with so many readers over the course of the last couple months. And then June 15th, we will be starting summer reading. We're really excited this year. We've got lots of great community businesses that are supporting prizes for the summer reading game. We've got a lot of fun planned throughout the summer, including programs, crafts, and events that will be going on. So you'll be hearing a lot more about all of those. But if you have any readers or you yourself want to take part in adult reading, please do. Let me know. I'll get you a game board. And we'll be out and about making sure those game boards get in the hands of kids throughout the community, through schools and daycares, etc. Along with those happy bits of news, I guess this is happy eventually. Our HVAC system we're beginning the process to replace our chiller here at Tillamook, Maine. That is gonna have us utilizing temporary HVAC units for probably a month and a half to 2 months while that happens. So that will be a challenge in the building, but we used them last year at the end of the summer, so we're familiar with the challenge. Creates a little bit of noise in the building, but also keeps people from overheating. So I think a good deal in the balance there. And so we're just trying to tie a bow on getting the temporary HVAC plan together. And then we will be working to get through that work with the chiller and then we're hopefully good for another 20 years. So that's the news from the library. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Don. Josh Brown? Nice to have you on the muzzle.
Do you say my name, Rachel? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure if you had called me. We had a hiring event, or excuse me, a testing event a couple weeks ago. We actually got a good handful of people we could interview. We had 6 for the corrections tech position prior to the testing event. Those interviews were conducted. 3 of them were no-shows, but we were able to offer 2 backgrounds, which is good. Coming up, I believe this week, we have interviews for all 3 divisions. There's a total of 12, which is a very robust number of applicants, which is exciting. I don't envy the 2 lieutenants and the undersheriff because they're going to be in interviews all day. But that's good because we hopefully will get some candidates. We're gearing up for summertime. Memorial weekend was very busy. I'll share the stats tomorrow in community update. Even though the numbers were very similar to last year, it just kind of all came at once. And so it felt very, very busy. We're prepping for 4th of July weekend, trying to make sure we have enough overtime slots. With it being a Saturday, it's going to be chaos. I may end up talking to outside sheriffs or neighboring sheriffs to see if they have any deputies willing to come in and work, just so that way we have some coverage. Just as a reminder, Sand Lake is doing the permit system for the 4th of July weekend, which is good because last year it was an absolute madhouse, and with it being on a Saturday, we're expecting the same. So we're gearing up for that. And then otherwise it's just parade season and of course the fair's coming up around the corner and holidays. So this is our time of year where we just run from one place to another. So that's it.
Josh, can you please summarize the fireworks ordinance for the group that was adopted last week that might be beneficial to folks?
Oh, yeah, sure. I can do that. Yeah, the public hearings were interesting. A lot of stuff came out that I wasn't fully expecting. But that being said, we did I worked with county council. I think Brian came in after Joel and I had started it. I don't remember the timing specifically, but we came up with a draft for a fireworks ordinance. And essentially, Oregon state law has been in effect for decades on fireworks laws. It designates for sure what is legal and what's not. You know, fountains and whatnot are legal. It designates what the permit process is. It's all laid out. The biggest difference is that it's a crime to actually enforce fireworks in the state of Oregon, be misdemeanor, I believe. So what we did is to make the process more efficient and simple and easier for deputies, as well as not so dramatic or drastic for people that are caught with fireworks. We came up with an ordinance that actually mirrors exactly the ORS and just simply reduces the penalty to a C violation. So it's a presumptive fine with a minimum and maximum that if it goes in front of the judge, they have some side rails. We still have the ability 100% to enforce ORS if the situation rises to that level. The example I give is if we come driving down the street and somebody lights off a mortar in front of us, single mortar might be appropriate just for a violation. Whereas if somebody's selling fireworks out of their van in Pacific City, that probably rises to the level of a crime. So we have the ability to enforce both. This is just another tool that we're able to use. Couple of clarifying things is this is not a total ban at all in any way, shape, or form. It simply mirrors the current ORS that has been in place for decades. It will not change how we patrol. We're not going to do focused, targeted things that some people thought maybe we would be. It's, like I said, just another tool in our bag that gets us through the process much quicker. Does that sound all right, Rachel?
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Cassandra.
No updates today. Thank you.
Marlene?
Good morning. Few updates for Health and Human Services. Wanted to mention our recent site visit with the state of Oregon for our patient-centered primary care home. We're really excited to be informed that we received Tier 5 recognition, which is the top level of quality care with the state of Oregon for patient-centered or wraparound services, and an equity designation as well. So that happened on the 22nd. Really proud of the whole team for working together. Very complimentary folks at the Oregon Health Authority who'd like to share a couple of our practices. So that was exciting. Also, this week we have our 10-year celebration for Tillamook County Wellness on June 4th. So wanting to recognize folks who've been involved in those efforts over the years of our 40 different organizations and 80 plus people involved in that. So looking forward to that. And reminding folks, because it's starting into summer and kids are just out of school or getting out of school, and we start our normal wellness promotion for young people, especially young adults and kids, to get their wellness exams during the summer, and for everyone, but there's also some gift cards and incentives for people, young folks, to partake in if they are able to get their appointment scheduled quickly. Let me see. Wanted to mention, if you are aware of the Rural Health Transformation Funds that came to the state of Oregon from the federal government, with the new administration deciding they were going to take a block of funds that were previously for Medicaid and other services, block grant them to states, and have a competitive process for applying. So we did apply for a couple of different projects totaling about 460,000 each. So don't know whether we'll receive any of those funds, but we should hear back in early July. Our focus is on modernization and technology to improve efficiencies and to increase staff capabilities and capacities. And Rachel reminded me, I really need to make sure that our IT folks have it. So Brandy sent that to Brandy, and we'll be talking with our IS team about, should we receive those funds? How do we implement some of those items that impact both our internal work and those external portals that we work with? So these may include things like ambient AI, interoperability between different systems, creating different types of efficiencies for certain documentation. So it's just quicker for both the providers and within the department. So less people have to touch the documents, just automatically puts in a chart, reminds you to check it, sends out the notice of the reminder and the like. So hopefully that will help overall. We'll see what happens. Also wanted to thank Brandy and team for working with us to try to figure out how to address some of our website challenges, I'll say, and how to work through some of those things and look at those training tools. I think you were mentioning some of those, Brandy. So we still have to work on some of that with Civic Plus. It's been a little bit challenging, but I think we're in one of the early adopters or getting started. So hopefully we'll work through some of those and other people will benefit from some of that learning. We'll see. Let's see, HR items. So continuing to recruit for some of those key management positions I've been mentioning over the last almost year now, for both the chief medical officer, the chief financial officer, my position as the administrator for the department. We're continuing those recruitments with our external recruiters. We have final interviews for my position, 3 candidates this week. The chief medical officer, hopefully will pin that down here real soon. She's leaving in November, and our chief financial officer in December. So got transition plans in place, contracts for coaching and support and upskilling, kind of based on, the candidate pool that we get for many of our positions. They're not quite aligned. So need to help those people be successful by some hands-on support. And lastly, it seemed like the HVAC thing is a topic, but we have this last year updated our HVAC for our main clinic. So it should be comfortable when we have some warm weather. It was challenging for staff and patients this last year. So we have temporary fixes, looking for a long-term fix. So temporary fixes tend to be about $40,000 a year. So big fix is going to be a lot of money. And we'll work with our McKinstry folks who helped us do some, assessment, but also some estimates on what that might cost. And we're pursuing still the loan to purchase some lots and facilities for some of our existing spaces. I think that's it. Thank you.
Nick, do you have any updates for the group?
No, I have nothing to report.
Commissioner Bill?
Good morning, everybody. Well, I am grateful and delighted to be reelected, to be able to work with you good folks for another 4 years and relieved that it's over. And thankful to the clerk's office for your excellent work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I shout out to the library. I attended the event that Dawn was talking about yesterday, the One Book, One Coast event at the Coliseum Theater, and it was very cool. There were a bunch of people there, which was great because, you know, who knows? And you never know when you plan something like that. And it was a live simulcast event. So in the theater, we were part of the audience for the event that was taking place in Los Angeles. And it was just very good. And the whole program was excellent. I had numerous discussions with people about the book out and about in the community. It was something that really brought people together and spurred conversation. So well done, you guys. It was great. Another fun thing that you might not know about is last week, all 3 commissioners got to have a tour of the Amazon delivery facility. That was very interesting. I was so glad we went. Unfortunately, from my perspective, we didn't get to see it happening. They invited us when like all of the vans and the people show up about 4 a.m. and they load all the vans and they all get out of there by 9 or 9:30. So when we were there, it was empty. But that was purposeful on their part. But it was fascinating to see the system and to know that, you know, probably at your house you have experienced more packages being delivered sooner. I certainly have, and to see how that's working. And the day we were there, they had just hit a new milestone, over 5,000 packages that day. That was the most they had delivered to date, and they're expecting a big seasonal bump, which I didn't anticipate, but people who are coming here vacationing are having their Amazon stuff delivered to them on vacation, which I hadn't thought about. And there are a couple of things that I learned that were interesting where I asked about jobs, and the delivery service is actually a different independent business. I didn't know that. I thought Amazon delivery drivers were Amazon employees, but they're not. It's a different business that works with Amazon. And that's 55 jobs, and there's 55 local jobs. So that was cool. And they're looking for up to 5 more. Their goal was 60. There are also warehouse jobs. And the folks that we met from Amazon were terrific, but we also met some outstanding local people, and something that was fascinating about it was the combination of tech, because they have been designing this system for seamless organization and delivery for a long time, and so the combination of tech and people, because every single package, like, you know, in my mind, I have this vision of things being more automated, but they're really not. Every single package is touched by humans. And so that combination of the system they developed, the tech they developed, and the humans is working marvelously. So it's a great thing for our community, I think. And they have the capacity to expand tremendously to, from 5,000 to 20. They think they could deliver up to 20,000 packages a day. And I overheard Commissioner Fournier talking to the man who owns the delivery business about, now, how about registering those vehicles here in Tillamook County? So it was good. We got started with those conversations because it would matter to us. So I think that's all from me, but thank you.
Okay. Our next meeting is July 6th, and I'm looking at the calendar. That's the Monday of the 4th of July weekend. 4th of July is on Saturday. So maybe taking a Friday or Monday off. Thoughts on Are people gonna be around that Monday? No? Who's here? Show of hands in the room? Okay. Hmm. Would anybody, I'll just say this, would anybody be opposed if we canceled it? Commissioner Mel, thoughts?
Not
Yeah,
opposed.
okay. I don't have any, can't think of any burning topics where we have to have a discussion about it July 6th that we could do right now, so. Right, we will cancel July 6th. We will see, so that puts us, let's make sure there's not an issue in August.
Just fair week.
That's the 3rd. Yeah.
And we have those, trainings, the courthouse security trainings in August. So we're gonna do something for Christie. We're gonna have a board order or something. Remind
Oh,
me.
yes.
So that the
So we
clerk's
can
office
close
can
early.
close.
Yeah.
And then communicate something to departments about, I hope that all the courthouse departments will participate.
Okay, well, we will adjourn. Thank you.
And be here.
Jim, second.